Here's a little update on the vegetable garden. I built me a different latch for the gate. This is like a long, like cane pole kind of latch that goes down to a receiver plate in the ground, and it's got a pipe going, you know, down underground that I concreted in. It's just some round bars, so makes it nice and easy where you just come and lift it up and put in its little holder there. Makes it a little easier to get in and out than the chain that I had on there. Corn is kind of goofed up a little bit. I planted it, you know, all at one time, and we had a whole ton of rain come. Some other people in Texas had a hard time. That rain just never quit, and it rotted out a bunch of the corn in the ground, and so it never came up. So I had to plant it again, and I think even a third time I had to plant, and some never did come up, but some did, and I'm hoping, you know, maybe a few years will get pollinated right, and maybe we can eat a few. But with it being planted at all different, you know, times, I'm not really sure how well it's going to work out, but I guess that's gardening for you. Weather always is a problem. So we've got the okra on this row here, and you can see this is the jambalaya is the variety, and they're starting to come along pretty good. There's your okra right there. And I mean, these plants aren't very big yet. Heck, I had to come out here and pick a couple before they got too much bigger. So far, pretty impressed by the jambalaya variety. Already starting to produce this quick is pretty incredible. So okra is coming along fine. We got melons here, like cantaloupe essentially. We got a few little ones starting out there. See that little guy there? So they're sprawling out, doing their thing. We've got some, I think it was zucchini here. They're starting to put some zucchini on there, a little cute one. And then I had some little summer squash over here. Where's it at? Oh yeah. Starting to get a little bit going there. The carrots, as you can see, didn't do so well. I don't think we didn't get a single one. Lettuce, it's growing. It's doing something. We may get a head of lettuce out of it, possibly. These bell peppers did horrible. I mean, they just never got going. Bugs got them, and they just never could take off for some reason. I think this guy, he's thinking about it, but here we are at the tomatoes, and what I wanted to show y'all is this sunshade I put up. Now you can see where my netting was, and just over where the tomatoes are, I added a sunshade. I got it from a greenhouse supply company. So it blocks about 20% of the sunlight, and it's kind of aluminized, I guess, if you will, so it's shiny, reflects some of the heat. So I'm hoping that'll help out, kind of shade my tomatoes a little bit. I know last year, as it got hotter, the sun would just torch those tomatoes and make them, the skin just real tough. So let me show you some of these porters over here are getting pretty loaded up. It's probably hard to see them on camera, but they're still blooming quite a bit, growing taller and taller. Here you can see some of the little groups of tomatoes there. There's a couple more here. Yeah. And then I lost track of what this next row was over here. I think it's a gold medal yellow is what they are. So it's putting on some pretty good sized fruit over there. A few more. And it's still trying to make some flowers up here, so we might be able to get a couple more going. And I was hoping the shade too, that shade cloth will maybe help out. With the, flowers actually turning into tomatoes, because there was quite a few places I noticed that there were lots of flowers, but none of them turned into tomatoes. So we will figure out if that sunshade will make that big a difference and maybe extend out my season a little bit. Now there's some cherry tomatoes that I planted over here. Boy, they've gotten really bushy. And they are loaded down with blooms everywhere. I'm hoping they turn into tomatoes real soon. We've had a few cherry tomatoes that were ripe, and we ate them, and they're pretty good. And these brandywines that we planted here, it's like an heirloom organic brandywine. It's grown nothing but a bush. There's, I think, one tomato on both of these plants here. Oh no, wait. I do see a second one there. But so far they just, aren't really producing much of anything. I don't think I'll plant those again. But on my last row over here is my red snappers. I've planted one whole row. I got a couple guys over there that just hadn't really taken off yet, but some of these down here on the end, they are doing pretty good. As you can see, focus in here for you. That one there is producing some pretty flowers on it, and it's not all that big yet. So I'm looking forward to the red snappers. I heard they produce, you know, are heat set, so maybe my sunshade will help them, you know, produce even longer. It wasn't too hard to put that up there, considering I already had the, you know, the netting and those wires stretched from, you know, end to end. It wasn't too hard just to roll that thing out. It doesn't weigh anything. It's real lightweight. It's almost like a foil, expanded foil kind of material. And I just zip tied it to the perimeter. And some of the tomatoes are getting a little bit of leaf issues, like there and over here. So I got some liquid cop and a couple other kind of anti-fungal things that I can come through here and spray. Maybe curtail that a little bit. But the Florida weave is still weaving, I guess. You can see on that T-post there, I've came through and added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of string, and once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. It goes kind of quick, and it gets you out here and gets you in front of the plants, and you get to see how they're doing and find any bugs and pick them off or whatever. Found a few caterpillars and tomato hornworms and all that good stuff. I just snip them off of there. And oh, I meant to explain that white powder around the base, that's gypsum, a form of calcium. It prevents that tomato end rot. That end rot is a calcium deficiency is what causes that. So I just sprinkle a little bit on there every so often, and then as I come through and water, it just sort of absorbs into the soil. So hopefully it'll minimize that end rot problem. But if these porters all come through for me, should have quite a few tomatoes. I mean, they're just, the more you look, the more you find them just hidden everywhere. So I'm looking forward to these guys. I hope they're good. I got them from that Tomato Fest, I think is the name of those guys. They sent me these actually kind of as like a bonus. I was buying some other stuff from them, the Texas Wilds and my cherry tomatoes and a couple other things, and they just threw a couple packs of the porters in there, and so far production wise they are kicking everybody else's butt, that's for sure. So I appreciate them sending me those couple free packs, because they're doing awesome. Well, thanks for checking out the garden, and let me know if you got any questions or if you have any advice for me on the corn for my next planting. I think I'm gonna get all this out of here, you know, what I can, and then I'll replant, and we'll have a better second crop this summer. Well, there's No Name, the nearest one in the picture. There's old Darkhead. She is fat. They've been out here eating all this green hay and loving it. That's her daughter there, Darkhead. She's looking good. She's still really nice. Likes coming up to us, getting a pet. And then there's Dot. That's the two. That's the mom and her daughter there. No Name and Dot. You can still see she's got that one dot on top of her head there, little white dot. And that's Darkhead's other kid over there, Bubbles. Uh-oh, donkey's in the way. Stand by.